Hey everybody, we want to start tonight's episode with a little message. We just heard of the passing of Mr. Ryan Anthony, and Carl asked me to pass this little message along. Um, Cancer blows. Rest in peace, Mr. Ryan Anthony, who was a titan on and off the horn, a friend, fighter, role model, and beautiful soul who is now with the trumpet giants upstairs. Gabriel has moved over a seat to let him in. Thank you, Ryan, for your unrelenting work for cancer research. You have touched many lives with God's instrument and through the positive work you did with your Cancer Blows organization, including being there for my wife Kenna and I as she did battle with this horrible disease. Kenna and I wish the Anthony family strength and peace during this time of incredible loss. Rest easy up there, Ryan, and have fun jamming with the cats upstairs.
Mr. Carl Fischer.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday Night Hang. As you can see, I am not Carl Fischer, but I play one on TV. My name is Stephen Wright, coming to you live from LaGrange, Illinois. Hope everybody is doing okay. As you guys know, we have done 10 episodes of the Tuesday Night Hang now, and have decided that this week and next week we're going to be on a little hiatus, but hiatus looks like this for me. I'm here hanging out with you guys. So what we did was we put together a little best of episodes 1 through 5 for tonight. If you guys were on the hangs with us, some of this will look familiar, obviously, but we know that not everybody was able to sit on the entire time every night. So just wanted to give you a little bit of a peek into the first 5 episodes, and then next week we'll take a look at episodes 6 through 10. Had some great times in the first 5 weeks. Just wanted to thank everybody that participated in those first 5 episodes, whether they were a guest in the hang or somebody in the chat or somebody that submitted questions, or just was there to watch along with us. This has definitely been a new time for everyone, with the quarantine, and now with the experience of everybody opening back up, and all the states opening back up slowly. Hopefully everybody is staying as healthy and safe as possible. But this has been a really cool thing for us, and I know I speak for Carl as well when I say that this is it's kind of been therapeutic for the two of us to sit on here and be able to hang out with you guys just the same as it would be, before a show or after a show, or or something like that. Always appreciate the support that you guys give to Carl, and believe it or not, the support that I even get as an individual, just being involved. So I really do thank you guys for that and for your friendship. And without further ado, I'm gonna hang here on the chat with you guys. We'll be answering questions as you guys type them in. I'm not sure who may pop in or out of the chat, but looking forward to hanging out with you guys and watching the best of episodes 1 through 5 of the Tuesday Night Hang. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and here we go.
Welcome. What's happening? Welcome to the YouTube Hang. Just wanted to say hello, and I know everybody's going through some quarantine. It's kind of a drag, obviously. Everybody's home, so this is when I have my most captive audience. It's when everybody's stuck at home. Oh, it's pretty funny. What's happening? I'm ready to go to bed. It's past my bedtime. I got a belly full. What's happening, everybody? Anyway, welcome. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, my right-hand man. He might be on my left side. He might be on my down side. He might be on the left side, right side, up side. How about a hand for my man, Stephen Wright from LaGrange, Chicago area, Illinois. Say hello, Stephen.
What's up, everybody? I'm down and to the right.
Down and to the right. So
down and to the right today.
Really?
Yeah.
Southeast. Southeast.
I'm southeast, but you're flipped, so we'll go from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always flipped. Well, my heart goes out to all my New York friends and family, and Northeast family. Dealing with that, man, the apple's really gotten crushed. We're trying to deal with some of the positive things that are bringing people together. Like I've been seeing a lot of these whole impromptu Zoom calls. Stephen and I, weeks now, we've been doing Zoom, and prior to that, we were doing Team Viewer. But everybody's trying to take advantage of the technology. I just think it's a great thing. So this is just kind of a way to kind of have a hang. So there'll be plenty of time if anybody has any questions about anything or anybody at any time. There should be a picture box somewhere where you can type in some things. This is the universal sign for type. Sign language.
I am working on that.
Working?
Yep. I am. I am working on that. Just so you guys know, this is definitely a first time. So we will have problems.
Well, my name's involved with it. That's a problem right there. So yeah. Part of the musician thing is going to the bar, drinking adult beverages or not, and just being a sense of community, So it could be, you don't have to be a musician. In fact, I like a lot of times not talking about music. I like talking about life, So,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of this. A lot of these guys.
A lot of the trumpets. Yeah.
Well, whatever. It's all good. Yeah. So, that being said, so I might as well just kind of jump in and talk about all this downtime. Been very fortunate to be on Billy Joel's band now for 14 and a half years. And, we're based at Madison Square Garden. We've been there coming over 5 years now, I believe. Once a month, we've been playing at the Garden. So that's been like our steady house gig, if you want to call it a house gig. It's kind of funny, but it's been a blessing to have that gig every month. And now everything's shut down. Everybody has, had to work on things that are important to them, whether it be getting their music together, their heads together, just a lot of things. So with my time, I started this, and it's kind of, I don't know if we described it at all, really. Well, maybe we didn't touch on this, but when I moved to Florida in 2013. My wife and I came from Long Island. We moved down here to St. Petersburg, Florida. My parents retired here 30-something years ago. So I wanted to be near them, and quite frankly, we lost our house in Long Island to Hurricane Sandy. So we moved down to Florida. And when I came down to St. Pete, I remember it was a downtown area. It used to be a very sleepy town, man. And this whole downtown area, Central Avenue downtown, has a lot of the New Orleans type of porches, and the architecture is very, very South. It's very cool. So I always thought, man, a brass band, just a kind of a cool street brass band would be fun here. So in the back of my mind, I talked to my dad about it in 2013. I was like, man, I would like to put together a brass band. There was this club that Buster Cooper used to play at. Buster Cooper was a great trombone player. He was with Duke Ellington's band. A lot of local guys here who were great musicians: Michael Ross, bass player John Jenkins, drummer. My guitar player with Ted Eye, LaRue Nicholson. He was playing with Buster. There was a club called The Garden, and it was been there for years. And it was like a nice little social club. Everybody went to see Buster. So I was like, maybe we'll do like a New Orleans street parade, second line thing downtown on Sunday afternoons and end up in The Garden. Well, the Garden was soon to be closed, so that club, the vibe of that club, I liked that place, so that kind of fell apart. Plus, I got the gig. I restarted back with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. On top of Billy, we were starting to really work a lot with Billy, and Diana Ross I was still working with. So I was juggling three. I was very fortunate, man. I was juggling 3 gigs, and so the time I was home, I wanted nothing to do with music. I just basically came home, pet my dog, kiss my wife, and hang out, and do my laundry. So I was gone over 200 days in 2013. So that was great. I had a lot of work. So I tabled this whole idea. Long story short, we've been very busy since then. The Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Mrs. Ross went away. Billy was getting very busy, and that's my main gig and my main man. So of course I don't want to lose that. That's so. When this whole thing happened, I actually started a new band last year called Ted Eye, just a tribute to evolutionary trumpet icons, TETI, a local band here. But we've been doing some things, nothing too crazy, but we recorded a record in August. Long story short with that, I'm rambling, I know, but when this whole quarantine thing happened, I couldn't hang out with anybody. So I'm like, you know what? I woke up one morning and, I was hearing some things in my head. Steven and I have messed with, I run Logic on the computer, and Steven, just like he's doing now, he's great with the technology, man. And so he would do virtual sessions with me, help me out getting, levels and hitting start and stop and telling me I stink, stuff like that. Like, I'll do it over again. So anyway, within a day, we had the whole tune done in a day, basically. All the horns were done. I sent it to my buddy, Luis Alicea, he's from Jersey, but he's down here in St. Pete. He's a drummer in Ted Eye. He's also a drummer with Al Di Meola. He's a great drummer, man. And not only do I like to surround myself with great musicians, but he's a great hang. He's a great dude. He's just a good person. And so I told him what I was kind of doing. I'm like, dude, I want to release it just to release it. It's like, dude, you had to track to me in an hour. I called my other friend, Mike Del Judas, who's, he's a monster. Anything you put in front of him, he plays, piano, guitar, bass, drums, and his vocals are killing. He's, we're lucky to have him on a Billy Joel gig. He's, unfortunately, I get to play in his ears the whole night, so he might be a little deaf. I'm stupid and he's deaf. It works perfect. So I called him. He's like, yeah, we'll do it. So I think we waited a day or two and, got his tracks, and it just kind of turned into something. So anyway, part of my brain revisited this whole thing. It's like, I'd love to do this brass band, and it's time. So, I'm looking around. I'm saying, well, no, this is a cool town, St. Pete. Was it you, Steven? Someone told me, I think it was either Steven or my wife. Oh, what are you going to name it? You have a name for something? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe something like, what was the first one we came up with? Remember the name?
There were a few different ones. This one kind of just stuck with me so much. Everything else just kind of went away.
I mean, down here in St. Pete, this is called the Sunshine City. So, Sunshine City Brass. I always had like a whole, but I'm just like, you know what? Let's just throw something out just to kind of, it made us happy. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to get at. Doing this was kind of, for lack of a better word, purging. all the negative stuff, man, just going out and playing. I felt like I was playing with my friends again, even though I was playing with myself. It's horrible. But it's supposed to be PG. But playing with Lewis, and then another guy I left out. So we got Lewis and Mike, and then it just was lacking something, man. I was like, I need some color. I need some, I got the rice, but I need the beans. So the rice and beans was my book. When you talk of rice and beans in St. Petersburg, Florida, you can't not talk about the great Goombie Ortiz. How do you say it, Goomb? Anyway, he's a fixture here in St. Pete, Tampa area. He's an icon percussionist. He's been with Al Di Meola for 95 years, on top of doing a million other projects. So he kind of put the rice and beans on for us. He played some beautiful, believe it or not, skin tambourine and some bells. And so it just kind of brought everybody was happy doing it. And so. Got something. One of the best people I know. I have the pleasure of sharing the stage with. See, I'm nervous. She's making me nervous. I'm getting nervous talking about it because she's such a bad, I'm going to say it, badass. So anyway, no further ado, let's welcome Miss Chris Telefaro to the little hang tonight.
What's up, Crystal?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, that's my girl.
Hey, Carl, your check's in the mail, man.
You got me nervous. I don't get nervous. Very
Check's
often.
in the mail.
I never get nervous, but man, I honestly, I think about experiences that we've had together, and I think about all the experiences and all the tours you've done prior to Billy, and what you've meant to the bands and every organization. You're bad meaning good.
Thank you. Yeah.
How's everything
Carl,
over
we can go back and forth on this about accolades about one another. So, feelings mutual, brother.
Thank you. I'm wrong. We get emails a lot. Just in general, if everybody doesn't know, Steven is actually my personal manager, and he's very helpful on, multitude of things. And so he brings things to my attention that I'm just too stupid to pay attention to. And one of them just recently was this week was, Crystal, I'm sure you get the same question. Are we really having that much fun on a Billy Joel stage? Because we're always cutting up, especially when you and I are together, and Mark, we're always getting in trouble.
I tell you, I'm so happy that you are a part of this organization.
I'm happy to be here.
Because if there's somebody in this band that laughs as much or more than I do. So whenever I get the opportunity to come over on your side of the stage there, try to get into that groove, man, I always got to say something. There's something, you always have to say something. It is what it is. And we don't have to
making it up.
Huh?
People actually said, somebody emailed about the other day, Steven, correct me if I'm wrong. It was like, are you guys actually is it genuine? Are you guys having that much fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're seeing it right now. I'm playing them a video from the garden, and you guys are laughing and playing to the back of the audience.
Oh, he's playing a video. We can't see it because,
Oh.
Yep.
We're blind.
Woo.
Well, cool. Yeah, it sucks.
I mean, it's spontaneous. It's like whatever it could be anything. We just go over each other and we'll find something that is absolutely outrageous.
Always. It could be about
whether it's your jacket
or like my jacket or Mark's shoes. Or my collar all messed up, something. Yeah.
Jacket, his shirt all twisted.
Tie off. Yeah. Oh my God, what a mess. Yeah, no, we have a good time. When there's a hang, usually pre or post show, we always know it's a fun time. But part of the reason too I wanted to get you on the show is a lot of things I know a little bit about, but I love to share it, especially with younger people and people that really don't have the opportunity to know these things. So, for instance, what was your first instrument? You play multi-instrument. What was your draw to play it? What did you want to play? What did you play?
I really didn't have a preference, to be honest with you. It was just kind of like a task.
Really?
That my
Charlie,
my brother, yeah.
God rest his soul, Charlie.
It was an assignment.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So was it vocals first? Was it singing?
Yeah, vocals. Yeah, vocals, and my mom, I used to play some keys, because my mom played B3 and and I used to play. So
I didn't know that. Your mom played B3.
I got away from that stuff. But I know. It's just when you have too many things going on, you can't focus, and get good at anything. So,
yes,
like I said, like this one blind man said to me, we were doing this gig in high school for the mayor of Gary, Indiana.
All right.
And I thought I did really well. I was feeling good, smelling myself. Teenager. And so I went out in the hallway just to take a break, and there was this guy playing a piano down in the hallway. It's like an upright, piano. And he's a black guy. He's playing piano, and I just started walking down there. He was, jazz. He's playing. He's just playing. I was like, wow, I was listening, right? Yeah. Then as I was walking up, I noticed that the guy was like blind.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I didn't think he saw me, or maybe he was partially blind or something. I don't know, but he looked blind. And I was just standing there, just kind of listening. And then he said, and he scared me. He said, you know what we call you? Started playing some really nice chord. Said, you know, you did a really good show tonight. He said, you know what we call people like you? All these beautiful chords.
Yeah.
He said, you're a jack of all trades, beautiful chords. I'm going feeling good. I got a smile on my face, but you're ace at none. All these diminished chords, boom, 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 boom,
Darkness.
boom, 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 boom.
Playing all the dark stuff. Really?
Oh, from that day on, my life changed.
So the whole sentence. Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, he went from minor to diminished. It just got dark, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
You know, for a lot of these students. Without further ado, I'd like to bring on here one of my good friends. Say hello to my man Trent. What's up?
What's up, dude? How are you? That intro was way too good. I will make sure I send the pesos your way.
Where's the money, brother?
Don't cash it. Whatever you do, don't cash it.
Let's see how much.
Did I mention so hey, thank you for that intro. I will tell you one thing, you know, we're all struggling musicians at one point, you know, and I'm still struggling on the horn every day, but
stop.
I found the one profession that I could lose more money in than being a professional jazz trumpet player, and that was opening a business. But man, thank you for that intro, man. And I wanted, I mean, when you asked, it was a great pleasure and honor because I think you know this, but I had opened my Kansas City shop up a few months maybe before you came with Billy to play at Kaufman. And I just sort of passed the thing. I was like, hey man, would you like to come and hang and do something? And you are our first clinician that we ever had at ACB. So man, what an honor. So, and it's an honor to be here. So, and you and Stephen, so awesome to be here. So because it was like, I was getting really sick of living out of a suitcase. I have so much respect for you guys. Like I remember asking Chris Bodie once, I was like, man, how many days do you do on the road? And he was like, I think I did 270 this year. Yeah. And Clark told me once I think it was the mid 70s, he did 310 days one year.
Yeah, I think mine was about 279. And that was about, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot.
It's so intense. Yeah. And it's awesome. I mean, come on, you go to these great places, you play for people and people love you. It's like, and people see that part of you at the gig and it's like, it's unbelievable how you guys, and one thing I will say is that concert at Kaufman was off the chain amazing. It was so great.
That was the stadium. That's the Royal Stadium, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Kaufman,
And
yeah.
it was the first concert there in 40 years or
It was
something.
a fun concert. Yeah, with
You
Billy.
guys killed it. I mean, it was like, the thing is, it's like one thing. It's like, my first trumpet teacher said this to me. He goes, because I never really practiced when I was real young. He goes, "You're not a trumpet player. You're a trumpet owner. You just own the thing. You don't play it. You're just an owner." So I called him like 3 or 4 years ago, and I did a video, like a FaceTime, and I showed him all the horns, and I was like, "Dude, you're right."
Stop. Oh, man.
But it's the thing you don't see that you guys do so well, because you guys have a wonderful relationship as just family. It really is.
Yeah.
And that's so important. It's like to have like trust as a musician, your trust that everything's going to be great, but to know like everybody's got your back, everybody cares for you, everybody loves what you do.
Well,
you're in a dream gig. That's like that is the dream, I think.
Yeah. Well,
how lucky was I? I mean,
that was
literally,
the hang, man. That was
those times on the bus, like the time that you got to spend on the bus, and just maybe you didn't go up and pick Maynard's brain, but I'm sure you did, because man, he plays so great. Obviously, we learn from so many sources, and you learned.
Well, it's funny you said it's like a direct. People learn two ways: directly in a one-on-one situation where you're actually studying, and then what I call it is the indirect hang. And so and it happened with a lot of the older generation. I believe Clark, one of the guys hanging with Nat Adderley, I used to hang with a lot.
Oh, that's right.
And he was like, "I ain't teaching you nothing. You're hanging," and we'd hang.
Nat called Clark once. I was at Clark's house on Long Island, and Nat called, and I picked up the phone. I'm a huge Nat fan. That's why I play cornet.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, and that's right. I forgot that you had to hang with Nat, and I was like, oh my god, totally fanboy, like, because you listen to those early. You have Billy Joe Jones, Blues for Dracula. Nat Adderley played some of the sickest horn that you'll ever hear.
The Jimmy Heath Nice People record too.
And Jimmy Heath, Little Big Man, where he's playing, and Clark's playing lead on that. There's two horn trumpets.
And they go to what about is it Nat and Clark trading on one?
Yes.
Oh my God, is one of my favorite. Play it for me. I this is killer.
It's a what? And Nat, he goes, woo! And he just like starts, and then the next day he's like, and he's like all above the horn, and it's like
we're cutting each other, boy. Woo!
But in those days it wasn't cutting. It was just
friendly. It
was just playing, and that's a little bit of a difference than maybe now. Like people think, oh well, you're showing someone up. It's like someone said that to me. Someone said that to me recently on a session. And I was like, hey man, you hired me to play. I'm just playing.
Yeah, play music.
But
it's funny you say that because we were lucky because we got to see the geniuses do that. I mean, not that I didn't get to see Clark and Nat play, but relationships and hanging with these guys. And Maynard was the same way too. He'd never sit you down and say, "This is what you need to do." It was more about the hang. And here's the testament. We can both talk about that solo. We both know that solo. We know that record. For the young people, there's a lot of great players out there now, but everybody's a copy of a copy of a copy. Hate to say it like that, but you got to bring in your own thing,
Well,
and you do.
Of course. And people say to me, they say, man, you sound a lot like Clark Terry. I was like, man, that's like the best compliment you could ever give me.
Yeah.
And nobody will ever sound like Clark Terry. Clark says there's 3 stages of being an improviser, and this is so important. Imitation, where we don't know how we learned how to talk. We're not reading textbooks on how to talk when we're sitting in a crib. One of these days, drool's coming out of both sides. It still is now, and
for different reasons.
Absolutely. And then okay. Sorry. And then one day you realize that if you say mama, you're going to get fed. And obviously I said a lot of mama. So, but, so we imitate, we learn through, constant like reinforcement. second stage is assimilation, not like the Borg, you're going to be assimilated, but, where you take a style of a player and you do this really great. I mean, it's like you go, you say, oh, well, this is this sort of vibe of this player. It could be Freddie Hubbard. It could be Woody Shaw. It could be, Don Ellis. It doesn't matter who it is. And that's the assimilation stage where it's like you're thinking of your heroes and playing. And then the third is innovation, which honestly, I don't care about ever getting to. There are very few innovators. That's, I think, where you were talking about. But even it's different. I mean, Clark's told me about this. He would have 5-6 recording sessions a day in New York in the 50s and 60s. And then go play a gig.
Yeah.
I mean, so these guys were on the horn all the time. And if you listen to Nat, I mean, J.J. Johnson, Eminent, is it the Eminent J.J. Johnson? No, it's not. It's the one where they do Mysterioso. And he's playing this blues and he goes right up to a double C and it's just like no fooling. It's like, here it is. Boom. On cornet, folks.
Totally crazy, man.
Here with me, I've got Justin Fabus, who is performing for the first time officially affiliated with CMA Fest.
It's a dream come true to be here with so many amazing artists, guys like Garth Brooks and Blake Shelton. I mean, the list just goes on and on. To be on that list with those guys, it's unreal. There's a fine line between reckless and crazy, and I'm pushing it most of the time. I will stay if I can, but it's not who I am. Love being here in Nashville. Everybody's being really, really kind, very welcoming. Being an emerging artist for the CMA is an honor, and to have this opportunity is unbelievable. So thank you all so much for all your support and coming out and seeing me. I really appreciate it.
So without further ado, let's say hello to my friend, Justin Fabus.
My friend, how are you?
My man, what's going on over there?
I'm doing well. Hey, cheers to you. Cheers to Steven, everybody out there watching. To you, health. Thank you for having me. And the check's in the mail, all the kind things you said.
You better have a lot of zeros, man. If it starts with zero, though, there's a problem. Oh, yeah. Well, talking about checks in the mail, man, I'll tell you what, how you making out? You're sitting there in your four walls. It's hard to kind of get out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm so excited to be here. We get to drink on a Tuesday night together. So
yeah, well, it's about to hang. This whole thing, whether it be, my old man had a thing years ago. It's like he didn't drink at all. And when I was younger, when I was really young, man, it was always about making the hang. We used to call guys like Hang Monster. And whenever you and I, Justin, would hook up, it was always about the hang. It's just, it's a sociable kind of positive thing. So we appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah, man.
Hope you both make it to Canada one day from Todd Tamborelli.
Okay, What about you, Justin?
Yeah. Let's sign me up. Let's go. We'll do a tour together.
Yeah, we'll do a trumpet guitar tour. There'll be 6 people there. We'll be our dogs.
Give me a hit.
Hey, we'll promote it through my dog's Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Yeah, it was a special night for sure. And then, and I have to give thanks to Steven. Like, Steven came to the show the next day because you guys were shipping out like early the next morning.
Sure.
And because I know we barely got up the next morning, even though we try to pace ourselves, But and Steven came for the whole show, which I so Steven, thank you. That was so awesome, and I know the guys in the band really appreciated that, So
it was cool. A good time. It was it was pretty cool to see, that particular venue that you guys were playing in. For people that don't know it, it was actually a country venue in Chicago that was like a block away from Wrigley. So on a Friday and Saturday night, that area is just it's like New Orleans, but it was pretty cool because if you play a live show in a venue in that area and you lose the crowd, it's your worst nightmare. But it was really cool to see you in that environment because you had them from the get-go.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. And I was warned that before we went on stage, like, hey, if you lose the crowd, you're screwed.
Yep.
Like, you know, they'll boo you off. And so I definitely pulled the guys aside and said, hey, you know, whatever we got to turn it up a little bit more because, you know, we you know, because everybody was so, you know, geeked about the whole weekend because Billy played Friday night and then Fall Out Boy played Saturday night.
Oh, that's right.
And we went on like an hour after Fall Out Boy because, you know, Wrigley was letting out. So everybody was coming to our show after the Fall Out Boy and was there for the weekend for the Billy show. So it was like, it was pretty crazy.
And that's what separates a lot of men from the boys or the girls from the women is when you're sitting in the studio, you can get away with certain things, auto-tune, retake things. But then you go on a road and you have a live band and you're knocking it out night after night. That really separates, you know, the artist from the amateur. Right. So, you know, Steven, I remember Steven calling me saying, man, your boy, yeah, he sounds great on record, but man, he's doing it. He got a tough, you know, people are coming out from that concert at Wrigley and, you know, you held him. So, you know, that's another thing I remembered about you. And talking about that, you know, what I know you and I have talked about, you know, in jest and texting and stuff like this. I have it here in Florida. It's interesting. I'm in St. Pete, Tampa area, Florida. Being from New York, very close to New York City, a half hour from New York City, you know, being a small fish in a big pond there and coming here, I'm still a small fish. I wish I was small. My last name's Fisher. I'm just too big. I'm fat. That's the problem. But being here in Tampa too, it's interesting. You know, like different cities have demographics and, you know, I make my living, even if it wasn't without Billy, traveling. And you and I have like touched on the subject. Maybe you want to touch on this. You know, what made you leave your local Pittsburgh scene, your bar scene, and start successfully touring? I know that's an objective you want, but was there a deciding factor on that? And how do you do that? How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, I mean, to put it the best way is I didn't want to be a local yokel.
There it is. Yeah.
And you know, and nothing against, you know, no disrespect to the local musicians. You know, Pittsburgh's not really a music town. Yeah. It's a sports town, you know, like we love our sports. So, you know, Pittsburgh's cool music scene if you're just trying to play like the local bars and have a good time and want to play covers, you know what I mean? So I knew that for me to really, you know, have a career and really try to take it to the next level, that I had to get out of Pittsburgh, you know, and I love Pittsburgh. You know, I live in Pittsburgh and I have a place in Pittsburgh and my fiance has a place in Atlanta. So we're back and forth from Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Okay. And I love Pittsburgh. I always will. It's where I came from. But I knew that there was no way that I was going to, because you can get stuck. You can get stuck as a local yokel. Yeah. And it can really hurt your career. Where you're like, you know, where you think like, man, I'm killing it. You know, I'm selling out all, you know, bars in Pittsburgh and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it just wasn't for me. And a lot of people, and to this day will say to me like, oh, you're a country guy. Why haven't you moved to Nashville? You're not going to make it unless you move to Nashville. And that's couldn't be further from the truth. Because, you know, Nashville is a whole different monster than it was 5 years ago, than it was 10 years ago, than it was 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
You know, so I remember when I first went down to Nashville, you know, every bar you went into, you heard Johnny Cash and you heard, you know, Charlie Pride and Merle Haggard songs. And now when you go to Nashville, you don't hear any of those songs. Wow. You know what I mean? They don't play the old country. Yeah. You know, it's more today's country or it's pop music and
there's a crossover there. Where
Right, exactly. And everybody's like, well, you're never going to make it as a country musician if you don't live in Nashville, which, you know, like I said, couldn't be further from the truth, because if you go to my opinion has always been when it comes to Nashville is I want to be invited to Nashville. I want people like the big guns from Nashville to say, come down, you know, and that's why I did the whole, you know, CMA Fest, and I became, you know, luckily I was chosen to be a CMA member, and you know, and I had the honor of being a CMA emerging artist. You know, I wanted to work at it, so I went to Nashville, calling me to come to Nashville instead of just showing up to Nashville and saying, hey, I'm here, put me on stage. You know, no, you know, because I heard too many horror stories about everybody saying, oh, I can go to Nashville, I'm gonna be the next big thing because I just need to go to Nashville. They went to Nashville, and 6 years later, they were back in Pittsburgh, and it just killed their dreams, and it just deflated them, and they were done. So I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond instead of being, the small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
So
everybody knows you as a touring musician and just a powerhouse. What got you, and how did you discover your love for teaching? I remember a couple years back, you were with your alma mater, IU, right? In the university. And I remember you had a great soul band that you had.
It's called the IU Soul Review.
Oh, the soul. I'm sorry. Yeah,
IU Soul Review, Indiana University, Bloomington.
It was killer,
Indiana.
man. And
yeah,
you
it
left
was
there. Are you still there? Or are you?
No, it was the I guess the previous director had quit suddenly.
Oh, okay.
And I got called in like what, 3 weeks or?
I remember
weeks
that.
before.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I was like, "Are you insane?" Right. So I have one word.
What do you got?
Syllabus.
Oh, there it is. That's a big word. Yep.
I mean, academia is just like so different.
Yep.
But
you did it. That's amazing. I mean,
yeah, I held it down for a year, and it's a IU Soul Review was first established in 1971.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, under the direction of Dr. Portia Mosby. Okay. And it is famous. It's mostly famous for its dynamic performances, R&B, soul, funk, and contemporary Black popular music.
Oh, cool.
And it's delivered by its commanding vocalist, powerful horn line, and tight rhythm section. That is the IU Soul Review.
There it is.
And man, I tell you, then you get to do like a 2.5-hour show as your final.
Okay.
At the end of the year. And I can put whatever program I want together. And I started from slavery.
Oh, wow.
On the boat coming over. Hey, man, I had to keep it real, man.
Throw right in there.
The boat coming over.
Yep.
And then I went all the way up to present day.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
that was a treat for those kids for that year for you to be there, because I also seen you take a whole bunch of students, whether it be 50-year-olds or 10-year-olds I've seen that you grab and you gravitate to. So I think you're a natural teacher. I know you're a natural teacher.
I just wished I had a little bit more time to get my feet in there.
We were busy with Billy too, right? We were busy.
Yeah, we're
traveling.
On tour. We're double dipping. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It was crazy. And I was, my kid, I have a kid,
Yep. I remember Cody was in, you were bouncing all around and that's amazing. And, I think a lot of people, the teaching always comes second, but it was natural to you.
What you see is what you get, good or bad. This is it. So,
we love that because you're honest. There's an honesty thing that happens too. People, it comes to a humble thing too. If you're honest with whatever you do, man, that should come out in some way, shape, or form or another. And that does I'm sure in your business too. I mean, here it is. You put it right out there,
And we've had people I did a video recently, and it's funny you mentioned viral videos. This is a kind of a viral video all of a sudden of us. I did it partially because I have not many horns here at my house and I can't get to the shop. So I was like, I'm going to do this stupid video of the cheapest trumpet I have with the most expensive trumpet I have.
Cool.
And it's like going kind of crazy. The point of it being, hold on a second.
Yeah, he don't have any horns in his house. There's another horn.
Listen to the music that this trumpet's making. Bueller? Anyone? Carl Fischer makes the music. Stephen Wright makes the music. I just move my fingers really fast and hope for the best result. But the thing about it, when it comes back to it, it's like we were talking about this again. We had a really happening 30 minutes before we started because we were talking about, for instance, what finding the right match of a horn versus a player, and
very important.
And eventually, I saw a great video. I don't know if there's a great video of Wynton playing at the Smithsonian, playing Louis Armstrong's trumpet.
Oh wow, I did see this. Yeah,
he's out in the crowd, and so there's some mic issues because obviously he doesn't have a mic around. He sounds ridiculously great. And Tom Williams, who was playing in the Smithsonian band, gave him his mouthpiece because his mouthpiece was made for his trumpet. It wouldn't fit into that Selmer. Sure. So not only is he playing a horn that's not his, he's not playing a mouthpiece that's his. And you know, because of your really great work with Gary, how important the mouthpiece is. Yeah. And that's actually one of the reasons I started my company. It was also
that's where I was going with this. Why did we start this? This is no. So go. I love this.
But you make the sound.
Yes.
I make the sound. Steven makes the sound. Then we start thinking about, okay, why do we play what we play? Now I love, and you know how much I love your trumpets. That's why it's a horn that we sell. We only sell horns that we love. There's a lot of people that want to sell at our shop, but we're like, man, one, I might not have interest, or two, I don't fully get the concept, or three, it's just, okay, well, that's just another something. There's something that has to stick out.
Like somebody was asking about how the crew fits into that family and how you guys feel about the Billy crew. And, I know you guys are always very aware of, of them and their part being so integral into the show. So
I'll tell you what, we are only as good as our crew.
Correct.
That's all I can say.
I'm gonna go absolutely. And then my thing is, I remember rehearsing in Oyster Bay, Long Island, in 2005 at a car dealership. That's right. And the crew, it was Wayne and Chainsaw and Wayne, and they had their own language. I remember coming in there, and I felt like I was coming into, like when you go to your cousin's house and you meet your cousin's extended family. It's like, okay, everybody's checking you out, and I remember Chainsaw and Wayne kind of giving me stink eye the first day. And, I'm like, and I came back the second day, and I could tell they were kind of still giving me a stink eye. I just remember the whole vibe of it. I'm like, wow, okay.
Man, they were just messing with you.
They were. And then Max and Boomer. Max was, our tour manager, and Boomer's our production tour manager. And them kind of give me, everybody starts giving me a little, pushing me, pushing my buttons, like, oh, you can't have that. What are you crazy? And I realized that it was like this, for lack of a better word, there's like dysfunctional family. They were totally messing with me. When I figured that out, I was like, all right, now it's on. It took me like 2 days to kind of get onto that. And then,
everybody went through that. Everybody.
Right?
I went through
it. It's a family. It's crazy.
Everybody.
We're all protecting everybody. Everybody protects each other. It's great, man.
Yep.
Yep. And I remember, I felt like an outsider coming in. And I was like very standoffish. I was watching it, and I could see it was very, it's just family-like. So, and the other thing I want to say is, I think the crew is more important and more valuable than the band.
I think the rigor is. Hello.
I agree. I'm telling you. The rigor, and yeah. We could go on with the crew.
We could go on.
So hopefully we answered that.
Yeah. Got a couple comments just on that. David says, been to a lot of big shows. This is the only band I know that comes out pre-show and interacts with the fans. I think that's great. The family doesn't stop with the crew. It extends to the fans also, which is incredible. Nice. I feel very lucky to know some of these people, some for almost 30 years. That's from Mandy. Noreen says, awesome crew. Melissa says, thanks for the shout out, guys. Marianne, I love chatting and hanging with everybody. Crystal, we have a question from Nif, I believe is how you pronounce this. What is it like for you guys to be on stage with musicians like McCartney or Axl Rose or any of the other guests for that matter that you guys have had experiences with?
Wow. Well, Carl, you want? I mean.
You want me to?
I mean, I think each of us could have our own individual, feeling on that. it's first of all, we have to learn their song like at the last minute or something, which is exciting to me, you know. And I don't know, it's a great feeling, you know. I don't have any other words how to explain that, man.
Surreal is how I feel. It's like a joke. It's like, oh, he's showing up tonight, you know. And it's like, oh man, you know, it's funny because you don't know, and that's what I think. You know, Crystal, remember we were asked a couple of weeks ago to talk about some Madison Square Garden memories. What sticks out in your head? And so my guest, you know, I picked a couple different guests. You know, of Sting, Chick Corea, you know,
Miley Cyrus
singing New York State of Mind. She was the MVP.
She tore it up.
You know, you and I both picked Miley. I thought that was hysterical. I'm not, you know, me, I'm a jazz head. I'm like, Miley Cyrus? She came in with some phrasing that I never heard before.
Tore it up. I mean, she put her twang on Billy Joel's thing. You know what I'm saying? It was awesome. I was like, that's well done.
So the excitement when they come is pretty amazing, and it harks back for me of that 12-12-12 Hurricane Sandy concert that, you know, there was like 10 bands, the Stones, the Who, you know, Springsteen. Everybody brought their A game, and we were off. We didn't play for about a year prior to that. We got back together and did this 12-12-12 thing, and I remember Billy hitting that stage, and everybody was on 12 cylinders. Billy had this thing. He was the only artist in my eyes that brought 18,000 people into the Garden and made it his living room. And he did make it his living room, and everybody else, my feelings, and I've said this a few times to different people, when now you know, we start the Garden run when we're doing you know, the residency, and you do have these acts come in, it has that excitement of back the 12-12-12 thing. It's like, it's his home. It's, you know,
I tell you what, when Paul McCartney came in, flying in there,
Shay,
you know, he comes down and he comes in just on time. Eagle has landed. He's walking up on stage. And I was like, hi, Paul. And he goes over and he goes, hi. And he gives me a kiss. Oh, on my cheek. I didn't wash my cheek for 3 days. You hear me?
I got a kiss from Christy that night, so I was happy too, in front of my wife. That's the one thing I hold over my wife all the time. I said, yeah, Christy loves me. Do you love me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to being with you again and being on a stage with you. I'm with you now. Come here, baby. So I want to see. I want to play music with you in person, hon.
Oh man,
I miss you.
I can't wait to stand next to you, man, and tell another joke.
We got. I needed this laugh. Steven, he laughs with me every day, but I think we all needed this. We appreciate you coming. Really, it means a lot to us.
You know what? This was so much fun, and I hope you guys invite me out for another time, if we can talk about something else, if we haven't talked about everything already. But
with plenty, we could talk for hours, but we don't want to.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
No,
but thank you all, and thank the fans for all showing up tonight, and we love you, and we can't wait to get back out there and do what we do for you.
Cool. Well, that being said, man, we can't wait to see what's coming on in the future for you. You got a friend. Much love and respect to you, and thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. You know, so much love and respect to you and Steve, and you guys have really kind of taken me under your wing and been great mentors and really given me great opportunities. And just I
sorry for you. You got problems. You got issues.
Hey, I'm just here for that. I'm just here for the outfits, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's bring your own mask day, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm running out of things to wear. No, I appreciate it, bro. You've been wonderful, and hopefully we got some new friends. Hopefully we'll all gain some new friends from these things. So
we're gonna start that Canada tour as soon as we can, go on tour.
Let's go, man.
Billy won't mind. He'll give me a couple of days off, right?
I'll come up on my tricycle. It'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good, brother. Well, Steven, I appreciate your help, man, and we appreciate everybody coming. And
thanks for the honor.
We appreciate everything and you guys hanging, and we're going to let Trent have the last words with his website and the Stephen, what you're going to ask him? Website? What else?
Yeah, just if people want to check you out some more, let them know where to go.
There's a YouTube channel. If you type me in, you'll find some bad videos of me playing trumpet, but some fun ones too. And just AustinCustomBrass.biz. We'd love to talk shop with you anytime, obviously. Awesome. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Stephen. This was an honor, man. So this time went like that, and that's what makes it really fun.
Exactly.
So,
I had to look at the clock. I'm like, wow, it's midnight.
I know, right?
We're gonna be some tired puppies in the morning, but man, you're the first and best guest, and you're the best guest we ever had, Trent.
Which also makes me the worst.
First one.
I've monopolized it.
You're number one.
You're also number 0.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, everybody. You guys
thanks,
sleep
everybody.
well. Peace.
Do reach out to us, because in this time of uncertainty, I love bringing people together, and music does that. And like I said, I think Stephen and I need this just as much as anybody else, whether it be about anything, man. But, be healthy, stay strong, keep social distancing. And till next time, we appreciate it. Be well. Peace.
Mr. Carl Fischer.